Hello, 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 and welcome to a special session of the Midwest Music Hour. The Midwest Music Hour, live tonight from the Bertsch Barn. Special guest, Chad O'Kennedy, Chad O'Brien. Yeah, lead singer of the band Cashed, in the house, in the barn tonight. Stoked to have you here, Chad.
It's good to be back. I've never been to your house, but it's good to be back on the air with you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a hot minute since the last time you were on the program.
Yeah.
That was a great time, but a lot of stuff has happened between now and then,
Yeah.
to say the least.
I mean, went on a solo tour with the O'Kennedy, and then Cash released its album. It's been a fun-filled, hard time through the COVID. Definitely just sitting at home and trying to fix on what I want to make as music and just what the people want too, because it's really striving to know that, like, for all that long sitting in your house by yourself or with your family, you're craving some sort of live music, whether it's a cover band or a bluegrass band or a metal band or whatever, just live music that really brings the people out. It's really cool, especially in this area of the state,
Absolutely, and shoot, since I think the last time you were on, you've been on a tour. You took a little tour out west, and that seemed to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it just sucked because we got back on March 8th, 2019, and then, what was it, a week later, St. Patty's Day happened and the whole nation was shut down. So it was like a little teaser, like, oh yeah, things are going good, and then, nope. Nope.
You've just hit one of those things that everybody wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Get out on tour and start making the contacts out there and travel and see the country and do the music and
look what happens.
And,
But I had a lot of time to reflect, and I had a lot of time to sit back and enjoy what I started playing music for. It was for myself and not just playing every night as a job, and making sure you can balance that fun creative side where you're enjoying it as a personal trait instead of making it so involved with. I mean, you try and find your alignment between the business side and making it a headache to where you still enjoy and love it.
Oh, isn't that the truth? It's like the worst thing that can happen to
is.
something you're passionate about. It's
Exactly.
Just have all the business just kill your passion for it. It can be tough, absolutely. So
Especially doing it on yourself when you're just, especially coming from the certain scenes of a lot of people in smaller towns or, parts of the state that, eventually make it on the public radio, but, like, they're still doing themselves for booking and advertisement and paying for promotion and buying their own merch and, trying to make a business aspect out of it. But it's hard sometimes, trying to pay people to make a design for you, or you're good enough to make a design for yourself to put on a t-shirt or something crazy like that, or just even trying to reach out to different bars that you can play in.
Yeah,
It's a task on
absolutely.
itself, but you try and make it fun, though, because you go back to those bars, you have those t-shirt designs, people are like, oh, you're that guy, you're that group, you're that, so-and-so, and it's a good feeling to have that. Like, this past weekend, I had a Halloween show, and for the first time ever as a musician, I had the crowd singing their song back to me, and it's my song. And that was such a crazy, cool feeling. For 2 songs, they did it. I was just like, this is I wrote this, and they're singing it back. What? Like, super cool feeling. And
Yeah.
I'm super happy and fortunate to have that slowly, the ball moving, so it's fun.
It's pretty rewarding. It's a lot of work putting in, all the effort, playing the shows, writing the songs, making the records, putting out there.
Meeting the people, too, like whether they're fans or they're musicians on the same lineup or just friends that are musicians in the circuit being like, man, we wish we were in a band, too. We would love to see you guys. It's like, well, yeah, you're playing in such town, such bar the same night we're playing here and here,
Yeah.
It's hard to, like, meet your friends that are musicians, too, because anytime I do see my friends when we're playing the same show, it's like, you guys are doing good. We're doing good. It's good to be in the same show with you tonight. Like, it's good to see a set because I've been wanting to see your set. Like,
Yeah.
it's always fun.
Yeah,
It's always
absolutely. Well, we didn't really talk about how we want to go about this tonight, but we want to break it up with songs and continue to converse as we go?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, sweet.
So you want me to play a song about tour?
Sure, yeah, let's get into one.
I'll write you a song about tour. It took me a few months to sit down and finally think of the story I wanted to tell about tour, being my first tour with a lovely friend of mine from South Dakota, Brian Hoffman. we had a fun time. It was kind of like a vacation, but it was traveling and playing shows and being out late. And this one's called "You're Better Off Instead." Lost in the darkness, just running away from the night. So far, how I've come, never seen so many stars. The horizon turns to dusk, seeing the day and the night. Anticipations rise, just to travel out this far. Never mind what you see, the roads are far to the sea, and you take it all in, because it's such a lost world to understand your purpose. Just look to the roads ahead. Sometimes you're better off instead. Altitude at best, meeting faces as you go, and the view makes up the rest. One that reminds me of home, learning things on the run, being the last ones at the show, staying high and having fun, still like seeing a little snow. Never mind what you see, the roads are far to the sea, and you take it all in, because it's such a lost world to understand your purpose. Just look to the roads ahead. Sometimes you're better off instead. You're better off instead. Made it as far as Coeur d'Alene's, never really been this tall. Now back to the open plains, where everything feels small. Just to thank the roads behind, to the mountains and the stars, never leaving her to die. Still jealous she's that far. Never mind what you see, the roads are far to the sea, and you take it all in, because it's such a lost world to understand your purpose. Just look to the roads ahead. Sometimes you're better off instead. Hooey. Hey, thanks. So it was kind of fun and like frustrating at the same time when like during COVID hit and like we were all like isolated. I tried doing a few like live streams on my page and stuff, and it was fun. Like I got to see the views and people like popping up and watching, but man, after I got done playing a song, that like quietness in my house was like, it's not the same, but you know, I'm trying, you know.
Yeah, the silence can be deafening. That's why I feel a little fortunate every once in a while the rooster will make a noise or something.
That's the best part about living out in the middle of nowhere. You can have cool pets like that.
Yeah.
So how things been for you up here, though?
Oh, not too bad.
That's good.
Pretty good. We're just kind of a good, crazy, busy summer and a lot of action. And
it's good to see that music kind of like kick-started itself back a little bit and everyone was kind of open. Because I remember, last fall around this time, there was a lot of, drive-in concerts happening. And people were still striving and wanting the music, but they made the means of it to work kind of like a drive-in theater, which was super cool. But once summer hit and, the vaccine started happening, it was kind of like, nope, festival season is full kick again. Everybody wants it. They want it. They want to see their favorite musician, their favorite band, anything, their favorite artist.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and that's absolutely right. vaccines came out, people got vaccinated and whatnot, and then you're looking at open air outdoor events, and it just made all the difference in the world.
I mean, even the drive-in theaters actually were very logistic proven very well and very profitable for whoever organized them. Oh, yeah. And yeah, people showed up with their friends that were safe and sound, and the way it worked out. All I've seen at least half a dozen drive-in concerts that worked out with big names, and it all ended up very well, which is super cool.
Yeah. Did you end up going to one yourself?
I actually got to be fortunate enough to work backstage for the Wildwoods one in Wausau last fall around this time. Oh, nice. It was a lovely location just outside of Rib Mountain there. Awesome barn location. They had the stage location set up. They had big names like Trampled by Turtle, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, some out-of-town support from Charlie Parr, Old Salt Union, and then my friend Billy Bronstead had me do guitar tech for him, so I got fortunate enough to work backstage and kind of be anywhere I wanted to in the festival at the same time. So that was cool. And again, I got to see the operation, how it all worked out, and working backstage kind of gives you a little bit more insight. I worked a few festivals backstage where now when I do go to a festival, I get to enjoy what I see and know as a knowledgeable event worker as to what the productions and value of a festival is. And I got fortunate enough to work backstage at Hodeg Summer 15. And it's a pretty profound festival, and just the way the logistics all worked, you got there Wednesday, you set up the stage, and you left Monday afternoon because you tore down the stage. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that stuff, and it's cool having that knowledge of whether just being a roadie for a local band as a 16-year-old kid to being a fortunate enough individual to work backstage at a country festival in northern Wisconsin at a 19, 20-year-old kid, being in a band now and being able to appreciate the finer things of festivals and knowing how it all works out logistics-wise and event coordinating and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I think it's it's kind of like any other industry where, if you get that broad experience from, different angles of, say it's like management, front of house, like in a kitchen, like in a restaurant scenario or whatever, the more jobs you have at a restaurant in that industry, the fuller picture you have of what goes into it, and makes you more dynamic, employee or coworker or something.
Exactly.
Like some guy can do it all. Like we really want him on the shift.
Well, and just knowing the smaller, finer things that make that those bigger shows memorable, and trying to hone in on your own smaller experience too. Okay, what's something you can put into your smaller show or your band show that's going to make you memorable? There's got to be something, just like any other festival. Why do you go to Jack Pine? Why do you go to Dead or Burning Man? Why do you go to Bonnaroo? Well, there's something about that festival that you just enjoy,
Absolutely. A lot of it is like that community that's built. It's like that traveling, group of people that just come together, form community, and sometimes that's hard to do in the daily life because of the grind and the work and fill in the blank and whatnot.
But when you do have those opportunities, you definitely make it.
Yeah.
All of it. You take the memories back. You take the talks you have with random people that you meet that weekend. It's a huge experience.
Absolutely. You were talking earlier about doing some instrumental music. What leads you into this, and what inspires you in that vein, man?
Instrumentals, come back, whether it's a big artist that or a small artist that has an instrumental song. The reason why it's an instrumental song is because the song itself already speaks enough volume where you don't need to put down lyrics. And growing up in finding my influences or favorite songs, you find those couple songs that are holy crap, that didn't need any lyrics. That was freaking fantastic. And so just finding my melodies and chord progressions throughout the years of writing songs for myself. I've had a few songs in the past where it's man, I don't really need lyrics for this song. It's just so progressively written that it just speaks for itself. And the last time I was on, live show with you, you called it the Chad Kennedy experience, and I was like, oh man, that really stuck for me. So I've been definitely, sitting at home isolating over COVID. I really thought about it. Man, sometimes I don't need to sit there and belt so many songs of covers where I want to have a original set. So all these songs that I'm singing for you are all originals, but again, like I talked with Scott earlier, I've been trying to hone in on some cool instrumentals that are really fun. So
Awesome.
this is one that I thought of while experiencing my drives through the mountains on tour or on certain vacations in certain mountain settings. Like it's pretty fun and intense at the same time, trying to drive up or through or down a mountain pass in any state, whether you're in the Appalachians of the East Coast or you're in the Rocky Mountains. It's definitely a progressive trip, and this next song definitely describes of my different experiences driving through the snow and not ice of the mountains of the Rocky Mountains. So I don't really have a song title for it. It's just untitled track, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
You know, just driving through, going up through passes, whether there's a semi next to you or not. Like you're going 80 miles an hour because you're on the interstate. Who knows? You know, driving through the mountains are wild, for sure. I don't know, just coming from this, being raised in this great state of Wisconsin, and seeing some of the possible places in this state that have those kind of mountains, La Crosse area being one of them. If you definitely want to try and enjoy or practice your good mountain driving, go driving in the back roads of La Crosse area. You'll definitely get practice very well with that.
Yeah.
Hey, I also appreciate you as having us over for dinner. This lovely red breast.
Oh, yeah.
Neat, but it's cold enough in this barn where it's staying cold. Don't even need ice cubes.
Cheers. Yeah, we're actually just settling into it here. It's
November 1st. It feels like November 1st.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning like, man, they really smacked us with November weather already. I was just picking Halloween candy up off the curb yesterday. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Show you right to the bone.
I mean, I did tell you in the text. I was like, yeah, dude, I'll freeze my butt off. Let's freeze myself in the barn. You're like, November 1st, you know that? Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're trying to hold steady at like a 52 degrees, 53 degrees. So.
And I feel like it's a good temperature, like you said, with equipment running. You could have some really cool folks come through here in the wintertime. They would love to see the backwoods of Wisconsin coming to your house and enjoying a spot like this. Like I said, you opened the door and I was blown away with how cool this spot is. It's incredible.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it'll be just a matter of keeping her a little bit warmer for the upcoming season, and maybe I don't know. We'll see where the leaks are, but
trial and error. You gotta win some and lose some.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of climates and temperatures and everything, it's a new axe for you, this Gretsch that you're playing on. It's a beautiful instrument, man.
I appreciate it, yeah. So my first guitar that I purchased as a young 20-year-old, it took its wear and tear, took it across the country with me, and I was down in Appleton and recording with the band at this place called the Bard Sessions. My friend JP of Monster at Grass has his cute little sessions down in his room. And, my headstock had snapped that day. So I got it fixed with a Lutheran in Wausau named Jeff Sambaum. And looked great, played great, and I started tuning it again at home, and it did it again. So I was like, well, looks like I gotta get a new guitar, So I scrounged the web and found this beautiful-looking guitar. And I was really trying to look for a really sexy-looking 40s-style archtop, semi-hollow, and I saw the first version of this, which is a natural wood style Gretsch, and then they had the dark option with the black matte, and I was like, that's my guitar. And it plays well, plugged in acoustic wise at home. It's a beautiful guitar. I love it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to be I wonder if it will respond differently to, like the cold weather and the climate changes and whatnot.
I can see the wood being how hollow it is. It could definitely warp. I did the whole rancid Tim Armstrong thing and stuck some bandanas in there already just to help my vibrato sounds with certain, PA systems throughout wherever I play. I got to play a really cool pedal in Appleton a few weeks ago with my friend. It's an awesome Behringer tube amplifier pedal for like $25 online, and he just tuned it right to my guitar, and I put that pedal on and just made my guitar sound just nice and extra good. And a few songs that I like really kind of hone in on my palm muting and the folky side of things. It really helped my guitar sound a little extra full. And yeah, that just trying to hone in on my sounds as an electric player with the punk band now, and like still going back and sitting at home and writing my own songs as a solo artist is so dynamically fun, because it's like, what can I write about today? Coming from a punk band aspect, you can write about so many cool things, like a bad night partying out or going to the school to take Photoshop. There's plenty of cool punk songs you can write. Folk songs, though, on the other hand, when you're singing by yourself, you already draw this attention to yourself when you start writing songs. You have this style, but like making sure people still listen and relate to those messages, they take that back. I've had a lot of friends or, fans come up to me. They're like, man, people should listen to your lyrics more. I'm like, yeah, I don't write them for no one. They're like, your lyrics are really good. I'm like, thank you. Like I try not to, when I write a song, I try not to be too poppy repetitive, but I want to make sure the message comes out with the sound of the guitar and my message through the lyrics, because it takes me a little bit to write a song, especially just to pop one off. Like, I can sit there and banter and come up with lyrics on the top of my head around a campfire, but when I want to write a serious song, it takes me a little bit to come together on paper. You know, there's 2 copies. I have a scribbled form, and then I'm like, all right, here's the finalized one. Here we go. And then I work off that one. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, songwriting is really hard and fun at the same time. You know, it's your own language. It's what you want to put down in your own feeling. You know, it's your journal. So many other people have other outlets of getting their emotions out. I myself write songs about it. You know.
Yeah, man. There was a guy, Curtis McMurtry. He was on the program a couple weeks back, and he talked about his writing method, where he'll write every day, sort of like an endless Word document, right? And at the end of the month, he'll cull it down to a song, like
that's
all the
really
little,
cool.
you know. And he calls it kind of like a distillation process, like the song is being distilled, like through all of that, right? He says it takes a lot of the pressure off of like thinking that maybe you'll hit writer's block or whatever.
It just gives you
just a matter
such
of,
a like 30 days full of journal to pick
Yeah,
apart.
right.
And that's such a personal experience. That's a really good way to
Yeah.
do it. That's a cool way to do it. I'd never heard of a songwriter doing it like that.
I had not either, and
Yeah.
he's like, but it's cool because you find he said that he'll find like a common voice or a common protagonist throughout that, or like whatever voice is like speaking, you
Or
know.
maybe he
like
even has like a trend that happens through his like progressionness through the month. Like, oh yeah, I was drinking a lot that month. It really shows in my storyline. Like, and he
Yeah.
writes a song about drinking or something crazy like that. That's
For
a cool
sure.
way to like. That's a cool way to. I like that.
Yeah, because I had, I had thought sometimes like I'll take little snippets, I call sound bites or whatever. Maybe it's like a cool fortune cookie that's got a nice little bit of something on there, and then tie that in with, if you just had that turn of phrase like you were talking about, like, the punk duck or whatever.
Oh yeah. Punk is duck.
Punk is duck,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hashtag punk is duck.
Right. So yeah, like all those things that pop up, in life. I've been known to like just scribble some stuff down or whatever, and then kind of end up with like a Frankenstein type thing where it's like certain.
There's
things
been a few
like
songs
leak
like
in or
that with
whatever.
Cashed where like I really thought about the chorus, but like the verses are kind of just Frankenstein together. I'm like, well, I mean, the choruses sound okay. I mean, the verses sound okay, but the chorus makes sense,
Yeah.
It's fun. Again, yeah, going from a band aspect and being a little more free. I guess in my own sense, I feel a little more open and free when I'm trying to write for the band because I'm writing for an entity as Cash, as this fun, energetic punk band. But when I'm writing about myself, for my own songs, I try and think a little more serious about it. I guess I put myself in my own shell. I'm just like, oh yeah, you can't be a sappy boy, but you're trying to be a sappy boy, but you got to write not sappy boy songs, but it's hard. But you're a sappy boy. It's like, okay, yeah, you're putting yourself in a shell. You got to stop doing that, Chad. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you had written. I remember you had played a song that you had written for your grandfather
yeah,
on the program last time.
yep. I still have his guitar. I still have that fond memory. Yeah, it was really cool. Like growing up with my grandmother and grandfather, always like playing music on the weekends with themselves, knowing that my grandfather had a tiny career in the '80s as a one-man band, and yeah, just those fond memories of always playing along with them, or asking them to teach me my first 2 chords or my first 3 chords on a guitar, and teaching myself how to learn and read tabs as a 11-year-old, and kind of I pursued guitar throughout my teenage years, but never took it seriously. I was just like, I want to learn my favorite song. I'm that Chad dude. I can play Wonderwall around the campfire for friends. Cool.
Yeah.
But then when I got out of high school and started experiencing adult, trauma and life expectancies, sat down and was like, you know what, guitar is an outlet for your emotions. Instead of trying to party it out and forget about things, why don't you sit down and write music like all the other friends are? And I drowned myself to a bunch of friends in Wausau and followed them down there, moved down there, and started doing the open mic thing and getting myself confident with cover songs and my style. And here I am.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah, that's how it goes, man. You were talking. You just had a show at the Pollock Inn.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. This Saturday with the
Halloween.
band, we dressed up as our friend's band. They usually like to wear like black metal corpse paint, so they're dressed up in black paint and white paint, and we thought it was funny if we were to dress up as them as Halloween.
Yeah.
So when they showed up to the bar and seen us four dressed up as them, they're just like,
That went over.
That's good. That went over really well.
Did not see that one coming.
So we were cash dystrophic heroes. Yeah, it turned out really well. The show turned out really well. We had the DUIs come from Milwaukee. Elk Startled by Thunder came from Stevens Point. Catastrophic Heroes from Wausau. Cash is from Wausau. So it was a really good, high energy night, especially for having as much music as there was in Wausau Saturday night. There was a ton of people playing in different places. So I'm glad we had the crowd that we did. Honestly, it went really well.
Right on. How do you feel about the diversity of Central Wisconsin's music scene?
I rather enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm glad that there's not like a cliche, cliquey scene of certain parts of the country. Like I have a friend who lives in Omaha, and tells me about the cliche, cliquey scene of the scene itself. Like whether you're good friends with this band, and you're at this show, but you like this band, you're not that show, you're not seen as a part of that scene. Whereas like around here, I can go to a Dig Deep show and then go to, the PI and watch Elms and still see the same people at the Dig Deep show that is at the Elm show. It's so cool to see that mix and understand that like everyone around here loves their music, whether it's going to see a cover band or, a metal band at the Mish, it's really cool seeing the diversity that we have in Central Wisconsin compared to some places in the States, Yeah. Because I've played certain places where it's like, I don't think I should be playing here, Like I tried, but I sound good, but like they don't like it. You had those places, It's just the name of the game.
Yeah. What do you do when you hit a thing like that?
I just try and play
put your head down and just...
Yeah, just try and play my set out, or, try and play the best of... Because I have a wide range of covers in my catalog where I can read the room well and know what that crowd wants, and I can try and mitigate the best I can, So if I get in a situation like that where that's like, all right, they're not liking my original stuff, I'll just play some covers of that genre that seems to... that I can assume to myself is the best to my knowledge of the room, Whether I'm playing some honky-tonk place or I'm playing an upscale place,
And I remember when I was growing up, there was something on VH1 called Bands on the Run, and it was like a touring band competition that it was like this reality show, right?
And they would go to places to get kicked out?
Well, pretty much, yeah. It'd be like, hey, your band's on the road, you got to get to this place, you got to play this gig, like, how much money do you earn, like, how much merch do you sell? They do the whole thing and, like, tally it up and whatever. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I remember there was this one group on there. It's kind of like that thing. Like they were doing their own stuff, their original tunes, and it was just like not landing. And of course, Sweet Home Alabama just won the crowd over, and it's just, amazing that there's those commonalities in pop music and in our culture, kind of like some of those songs that are those famous, classic tunes, like play well anywhere.
Yep.
Right?
But then you get to some places where it's like that's the only sort of genre they may listen to in that like area or bar, and then you kind of like throw something different in there where the owner's kind of like, yeah, we'll try it, yeah, and it just doesn't go well.
It's like Bob's Country Bunker.
No, it's like Roadhouse. It's like Roadhouse. They have the chicken wire in front of the like stage.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that's all you can do though, really. You put your head down and play, try to accommodate the best you can. I imagine try to get out there with your with your life or whatever sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think too there's there's something to be said about just giving it your shot anyway. And because it takes a lot of
you're there once.
A lot of courage.
You're there once or twice, and if you don't get a good, place back, then you made the experience that you did. Someone's gonna take back like, oh, you remember that night that the whole bar went crazy, but that guy was really good. Like, oh yeah, I was there for that. Like, yeah, he was pretty good, but everyone hated him.
Made you feel something, right?
Right.
That's my job as an artist. Make you feel something, you know. Ingrid, that's okay. I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
No, I just always think though too, like, hey, you know, you create songs like who else, you know, nobody else is singing them, right? You're the writer, you know, that whole thing. Like as an artist, you got to be out there. You got to put your own stuff out there. It takes a lot of courage, and you know, because if you're not doing it, who else is? So, yeah, you know, you may mix it up a little bit to appease the crowd if they're not, you know, if it's not landing, but sometimes it's also just like a rule of thumb in the mix, you know, like, hey.
And then sometimes you're lucky enough to play, you know, as a background music, and you can play whatever the heck you want.
Yeah, right.
You're just like, oh yeah, you're just background music today. Like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit here and screw off.
I got all the stuff I was gonna practice.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
Well, speaking of writing songs, how about I sing another song that I wrote recently, having to do with, you know, like the problems of writer's block. You know, and I call this song "Gathered Thoughts." You know, you sit there and you deal with troubling thoughts or happy thoughts, and you go to bed and you're trying to go to bed, but all those thoughts crumble up and they gather up. And this one really talks about just, you know, trying to get through your past, present, or future, in a sense. Strangers had more say best about you. True friends become past enemies. Lost faces in a mess, your history. So invest in the stress of your own life. Don't become upset with me, and life will face it endlessly. No reasons to express what seems to be. Just look for the face of life in the sunlight, and through those gathered thoughts, oh no. Gathered thoughts, oh no. Don't let the storm clouds drag you down. What will be profound when you escape whatever it takes through the struggling times and through those gathered thoughts, oh no. And through those gathered thoughts, oh no. Don't become upset with me. Life will face it endlessly. No reasons to explain what needs to be. Just look for the face of life in the sunlight, and through those gathered thoughts, oh no. And through those gathered thoughts, oh no. Nothing's left for me here. Life will face it endlessly. From the depths of misery into the stolen faces of your own history. When you're left alone at sea, just come to terms at last. Through those gathered thoughts, through those gathered thoughts, oh no. And through those gathered thoughts, oh no. become upset with me, and life will face it endlessly. No reasons to explain what needs to be. Just look for the face of life through the sunlight and through those gathered thoughts so new. And through those gathered thoughts so new. Oh no.
Nice. What's the name of that one?
Gathered thoughts.
Gathered Thoughts.
Yeah.
You have that one released yet?
No.
Fantastic. People, I've included a link to your Facebook page.
Yeah, I'm not fancy enough yet to have a website.
In the description. I was going to say, people out there who are interested in finding you and your music are
Yeah, Facebook's the best bet. I usually post all my events or the band's events on my social media page or my own personal social media page. So I try and keep up on the Chad O'Kennedy pretty well, whether it's me posting videos of me in the living room or events that I have going on. I try and keep up pretty well with that. And if you have any places that you want me to play or suggestions to it, by all means, you can text me personally on Facebook or my band page. I'm totally down to take suggestions and hitting those people up and playing wherever the heck you want me to play.
Far out.
You know, it's far out. This scotch.
This 12-year-old Redbreast?
That's what I'm saying. It's good stuff.
You know, Phil Wickham and I were drinking in Duluth one time, I think, by a homegrown music festival.
That
or
sounds like
something.
a fantastic start of a story.
Yeah. I think that was the first night I ever had Redbreast.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Good and smooth.
And Phil Wickham's such a good guy, too. When he used to host open mic down there in Malarkey's in Wausau, it was always good to see him. Every other week or so, I'd try and get down there just to, you know, whether I play a set at there or just to go say hi to him, because he's such a good Northwoods folk, too, that grew up here and is still trying to keep the music alive with his own style. Like, he's not playing places to play country, you know, covers and rock and roll 80s covers. He's playing his own stuff along with good covers that everyone seems to love. And his voice, that man's voice is so good.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one of the things that I really admire about Phil, too, is just he reminds me that we as independent artists have have that job towards, or, you know, we have that opportunity, I guess, it really, for one another, to one another. We have an opportunity to share, like, each other's music by covering it ourselves, right? We don't have to cover all the Johnny Cash tunes in the world or whatnot.
No.
Like, and I think that's one thing that Phil, like, really reminded me of when he started doing it, because that's kind of been what he's done almost the entire time that he started playing. Like, he's like, I really love, you know, this regional artist, you know, like the Drew Peterson or the Joe Huber, you know, whoever, you know, fill in the blank, you know, and
that's the same thing with me too. I've been really sticking really close and hard to sessions on YouTube called Gems on VHS.
Oh yeah.
And it's this really good sessions of like Eastern Kentucky, Western West Virginia, Appalachian bluegrass folk, or even some Western stuff in there too. But like a guy named Benjamin Todd, he has an old DIY band called Lost Dog Street Band, and just that profound style. I've covered at least 4 or 5 Benjamin Todd songs or Lost Dog Street Band songs, just because the way he writes, the way he presents his problems, just to a universal understanding is incredible. Like, he makes it sound like a breakup song is worse than that, but you feel better after listening to that breakup song. It's like, man, what does this guy, what did he do? What did this guy do? Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, just finding those regional artists that you love and can find and relate to them or even cover their songs. Like, I even cover a Joseph Huber song because he's such an incredible song artist. And to know and ask and get that permission from him to be like, hey, is it okay if I cover this song? Yeah, go for it, dude. Like, it's nice having that relationship with artists, you know, being like, hey, man, love, respect you. Can I cover one of your songs? Like, yeah, I want to hear your version of it. That sounds awesome. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So yes, I could do this awesome cover of an old Red Lane song. Red Lane was this old country singer songwriter who wrote for Charlie Pride, Willie Nelson, all those guys. And the story behind this song I actually got from a guy named Charlie Crockett. He covers this song on a Western as fuck video, and I pretty much sort of verbatim tell the same story he does in the video. But yeah, Red Lane wrote this song for Charlie Pride. Charlie Pride didn't want to sing it, so Willie Nelson made it famous on the radio until they banned it from the radio. And this song talks about the old ways of small town counties. If you're a lonesome musician or a nobody rolling through the county, you're going to get picked up and get put, for free labor. Like, it was just that way back in the day. If you didn't have a dime to your name and you're just making your way through the South or the Middle West or nothing, you're free labor. There they go. So this one's called Blackjack County Chains. I really enjoy this version that Charlie Crockett does, but I kind of amp it up a little bit with the Chad O'Kennedy version. I was standing beside the road in Blackjack County, not knowing that the sheriff paid a bounty for men like me who didn't have a penny to their name. Well, he locked my legs in 35 pounds of Blackjack County chains. And all we had to eat was bread and water. And each day we had to build that road 1.25 miles. A black snake whip would crack our backs if some poor fool complained. Well, we couldn't fight back when 35 pounds of Blackjack County chains. Then one night when the sheriff was a-sleepin', we gathered all around him, slowly creeping. Heaven help me to forget that night in the cold, cold rain. Well, we beat him to death with 35 pounds of Blackjack County chains. Now all the whip marks have healed and I am thankful. And there's nothing but these scars around my ankle. Most of all, glad no man will ever be a slave again. To black snake whip and 35 pounds of Blackjack County chains. Black snake whip and 35 pounds of Blackjack County chains. 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 It's the only cover you're getting tonight.
Nice. Yeah, man.
Ugh. Man, it's so good to smell the crisp northern air.
Oh, and it is crispy this time of year. Holy cow.
Yeah, I was not expecting November 1st to be this cold. I figured it was going to be cold, but
Yeah.
when I rolled up and there was more snow in Wausau than there was here, like, holy shit. Good stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of snuck up on me, you know. We're out here getting things all ready, and then checked out the door, and gosh, it snowed. So that that's one thing I kind of like consider about where we're at. I was talking like that guy Curtis is from Austin, and he was talking about how it's sort of just things get sort of browner-ish, or the color just sort of fades out. They don't, the whole change of seasons thing is a little bit different down there, I guess. And coming up on this snowy season or whatever, it's always just like, how far are you going to travel for gigs, and
Well, see, the nice
taking
thing
into
about coming
consideration
up
all
to
that type of
Rylander, I grew up in Tomahawk, so I have family in Tomahawk, so it's like quick, easy little pit stop on up north to 51. You could just kind of swing in and see my family, and then come up here.
Yeah.
Whether I play at Birchwood or I play for Project Mayhem, or I come up and see you for a radio interview, or even playing the barn. Like first time here, and this is a rad spot. God damn, this place is cool.
Thanks, man.
It's just so cool to find, spots like this in the state, knowing that there's other cool gems like this somewhere else in the States too. Like, this is a cool spot, and not too many people get to know about it. That's why I was like, hey, can I come play the barn? This is a cool spot. Like,
Yeah, man.
I always like playing cool spots like that, whether I'm the first, the fourth, or the last. Like, it's fun having an experience with your friends or your fellow musicians and getting cool opportunities like this to play.
For sure.
I even got to play at Front Porch this summer. It was wild.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, I got a friend down in Evansville, Wisconsin. Lives just south of Madison, and they were having shows twice a week in his front porch.
Really?
Like, DIY setup, like the whole PA system, like the whole street was blocked off for pedestrians and seating, and yeah, Joe was having 2 shows a week, Wednesday shows and Saturday shows, and they were very well. Cash got down there and played it the end of July, and the only unfortunate thing for our venue night was it was really hot that day, so everyone kind of just like stayed indoors and stayed in the AC, because even Joe was like, we've had 100 people on this lawn. Like, it's just hot today. No one wanted to come out. It's like, we got to play at Porch. This is cool shit. I had so much fun. So yeah, it's fun finding places like this and being able to say, yeah, I got to play that when it was a thing.
Absolutely.
That's what I like.
Yeah, man. And I just, I got to give it up for WXPR to be so open, to regional artists, but then having a platform, a solid platform to be able to deliver that music to a broader audience.
Of course.
That's just really cool to be part of,
It's nice having that outlet, like you said, in that platform to be able to do this, and for WXPR to be so gracious. Thanks, guys. For being so open to have your, like, again, it's so nice having that diversity in central, Wisconsin, where you can have my buddy Billy Bronson come on one week, and then have a out-of-town national touring artist guy like Craig, and then have me come in and just do all these different genres and just be okay with it, because why the hell not?
Yeah.
That's what regional music is. Everyone's going to have their different aspect on music and their different genre, and you got to be open to that. I don't know why people aren't.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. It's we all like what we like, and don't necessarily have an affinity for things that, for whatever reason, we don't like. But at the end of the day, it's art, and it's enriching, and it makes us feel something, right?
For as much of a musician as I am, I have a very small list of hate musicians that I don't like, and it's only 3. It's very small. It's pretty crazy. Like, other than that, like, sure, I may not listen to you all the time, but you have a following and respect what you're doing. Good for you. But the other 3, no. Get out of here. And now I want to listen to Kid Rock.
I was going to ask you to name them.
That's one easy one. You can just, no Kid Rock.
But he plays all those instruments,
Yeah, he's from Michigan.
He's from Michigan.
Yeah.
He's a Midwesterner.
I don't wear an American flag as a cape every show either.
Yeah. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Hey, you got a song about that?
Oh, man. No, not about freedom. But I definitely have a song about being free of your thoughts. And it's a Cash song. So I could play an acoustic Cash song. How's that sound?
Beauteous.
I like that, yeah. What once was grief becomes a greater urge to succeed. Even a river's current looks to fight to many obstructions. Set lost in the thoughts, so the siege of words, I confess, are never lost to the sea of mine and after death. So I will seek for lost treasures through the hurricanes and skies, which I'll search for myself, struggling with these lies. And I will not fight. The words come to me tonight. No, words will lie. An afterthought, sorrow inside. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stay the course, and you will end up happy once again. Let the frustrations flow its way until happiness appears again. Calm waters lead to patience in the bigger picture. You'll always float to something bigger, bigger and better. And I will not fight. The words come to me tonight. No, words will lie. An afterthought, sorrow inside. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cash is playing November 12th at Whitewater Music Hall with Nato Cole and the Blue Diamond Band. Come and see us. We got merch. Got CDs.
November 12th.
Whitewater Music Hall, Wausau.
Yeah, I've not made it there myself.
You have not played there yet?
Well, no, haven't played there actually, and I haven't made it in person either.
Well, I can get you the contact information.
Yeah, we try to hook up on like a Thursday.
I would love for you to meet Kelly and
something
Leslie of
like that.
Whitewater. Those two ladies are fantastic. And they're from Austin, so they're very open to music.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they've just had a lot of awesome shows
Yeah.
recently.
Ticketed or non-ticketed, both. Like, they're just bringing in good names.
Things went. Were you there at all this last summer?
Yeah,
like
Cash
the
played a
Beer
couple.
Garden?
Yeah, Cash played a couple shows this past summer. We had our album release show on May of 29th. We got to play with our guitar player's surprise band called Wet Denim. It was a two-piece. And then we got fortunate enough to play another show with a band from Milwaukee called Indonesian Junk. And then a Minneapolis band called Nato Cole and the Blue Diamond Band. All very well-known bands from that area. So it was cool just being like the local hometown favorite, opening up for these two bigger bands, and them being like, this is a cool spot. Like, yeah, come through anytime. We got you.
Right on.
Like, it's so nice being able to offer people places to play when they know they can come to town and being like, oh, yeah, these guys will hook us up. So
Absolutely.
it's always fun.
What's in the works for like the next upcoming tour? You got anything?
I guess I was
hopes,
talking.
dreams,
I was talking. I was talking to you a little bit about some Chad Kennedy stuff. My buddy Brian Hoffman from South Dakota was talking to another friend of mine and I about a little mini tour next spring, March, doing like a little Midwest kind of tour. The farthest we'd probably go is Fargo. Stay in kind of the area, Minneapolis, Duluth. Try and go to Marquette, Green Bay, Wausau. Maybe hit up Eau Claire if we can get a spot. And then Cash, we're still in the workings. We have a CD, we have merch. We're just trying to get more suitable means of transportation for a band. Because me being a solo artist, I can hop in anybody's car and go. Whereas a band, it's like, okay, it's 4, 5 entities with music equipment. So just trying to figure out the logistics for a Cash tour. Same, we have prospects in a lot of places. I have friends out in South Dakota that have a place for us to play. Omaha, Des Moines. Trying to secure some local spots in Champaign, Illinois. I think the farthest that Cash would go is Cleveland. We're trying to have the opportunity to play the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So if you show up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you can either pay admission, or if you're a touring band, you have a CD. That's your ticket. And they take your CD and put it in a file. And then they have this awesome jam room in the Hall of Fame where they have a couple drum sets, a couple amps, a couple bass amps, a bunch of guitars and amps, and a microphone. And you can literally jam in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum. And we're like, let's make sure we get cameras before we go on tour, but let's do a fucking cash set at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, that'd be cool. So that's like one of the bigger goals we're shooting for as a cash tour, and to reach all the way to Cleveland and play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum in the jam room would be super cool. And being like, yeah, we're a touring band on tour. Like, okay, just give me your CD, get in. Like, okay, cool, yeah, thanks. You know, so that's kind of like the prospect for that. And along with just like trying to play local shows, you know, playing with bigger names, because we're starting to get a bigger following now, and we have fans, and we have people that want to play with us, and people that have seen us, they want to play with us. And the same thing with the O'Kennedy thing too. Like, I keep writing songs at home. I still want to play solo shows. There's plenty of stuff that I like doing as a solo artist as well, but the band is what came out of me being a solo artist. Like, my guitar player approached me at a solo show and was like, hey, you want some help with some stuff? We could make a band. So again, like, it's still me learning and being a musician on my own, but I do have a band, which is nice for the PR, but still I'm my own entity when I play as the O'Kennedy. So it's cool having those two different music styles to bounce off of, because I do love punk. I love punk music. I love pop punk music, but I do like my folk. I like my bluegrass. So it's fun being able to bounce back and forth and be in this middle realm where they call folk punk.
Yeah.
You know?
When does that affects you when you're maybe writing a song nowadays with having the band in mind? Are there things that you
No, I just
like,
write songs and then I'll present them to the band, and the band will be straight honest with me. They're like, "No, that's an O'Kennedy song. You can keep that one." Or like, "No, that's a cool song. Let's put this one into cash form. Let's do it."
Okay.
So like the band's very open with my songwriting as well. Like my bandmates will just straight up tell me they don't mind. And I'd rather take the criticism from them, being like, "Hey, I'm still working on my brain. Like, I'm still working with the band, but like, here's a song." They're like, "Nah, that's folky. Yeah, you keep that one." You know, like, okay, thank you. Thanks for being honest.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
I can play.
that's really cool, because otherwise, yeah, like I was saying, that, you know, maybe you'd be like, "Oh, I'm writing this one for myself," or "I'm writing this one for the band," whereas you could just write it and then they can help. You know,
well, even with the song "Gather Thoughts" that I
decide
just
that,
played
yeah.
earlier, my drummer Dallas, he tells me a lot. He's like, "Man, that's your song, man. Like that's O'Kennedy for sure. Like, it's such a good song that we can't take it as a band song. Like, you wrote it during the mid-band season, but like, that's your song." It's like, "Well, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Like, I get it." He's like, "Yeah, just the way you sing it, we couldn't do it, you know." Because there's a couple of my songs that were put on the album for Cashed, and like, they sound so different from the way I wrote them as an acoustic artist to turning them into a band song, which isn't a bad thing. It's just when I play them solely, it's like, okay, you know.
Do you find it difficult to make that transition?
In the beginning, it was, but now, us being a unit for almost 2 years now, it becomes a little easier. You know, it's been a little easier now being able to come to Brad and being like, "Hey, I got this idea. Help me put it on paper." And just like figuring out as a formula. Whereas in the beginning, it was like, "Okay, yeah, these are my songs. This is the progression. Like, follow along with me." They're just like, "Okay, well, can we like do this, and that? Let's put an interlude in there so we can do a solo." Like, "Oh, okay, so the song's a little longer now. Okay, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, let's do it." You know, it took a little bit, but now it's just like, "Oh yeah, I have a band now. I gotta put that in thought." You know.
So if you put in like a solo interlude in there for like the band performance, are you do you shorten it up when you do a solo gig then?
Sometimes I like interludes in my stuff too, because the interludes are nice because Brad and I have been kind of generous with each other now, where there's a couple songs, some of the newer songs in Cash that we don't have recorded yet, that I have lead parts, and it's like me coming out of my shell as a rhythm guitar player. I'm like, "Oh, I got a lead part. Like, this is my part. Yeah." Like, whereas like in the beginning, it was just like, "Oh yeah, these are my songs. Brad, put a solo down. Cool." Now it's like, Oh no, we're writing songs. Hey, I got an idea here. Hey, how's this little lick sound? You know, like, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, keep that, Chad. Like, I got a lead part. Yeah, you know, like, it gives me a little hope that I'll become a better guitar player than just a rhythm guitar player.
Cool.
So that's fun.
Do you have any techniques, or what kind of methods do you use as a guitarist who is on a learning quest, as we all are? What types of resources do you utilize?
So, coming from having a very wide range of genre liking, being able to play fast, I have a very fond liking for Tom DeLonge of Blink-182, and he just had a article come out a few weeks ago talking about, hey Tom, what's the trick to playing fast? You gotta masturbate a lot. I was just like, that's not how you play fast. You gotta. So I find that funny that like a famous rock star like him has funny ways of like, oh, so you can like put this in your practice. But like, I don't know, me starting out as a early guitar player, I would just try and get better with making sure my fingers were on and the chord progression sounded smooth, and then I got fast. And then I got, fast with my plucking and be able to and going back and forth there. But
develop
now
that control and
having that sound and that, instead of being like so it was fun learning on my own, but also I started at an early stage of finger picking too, in my early stages too. So now I have all these cool melodies in my head that I've been practicing on for years, just picking back and forth, and just honestly, the one song that got me to start finger picking was Other Side. Scarred Tissue by Red Hot Chili Peppers. The intro to it, the got me on the whole sliding thing and finger picking to where I was like, oh, I can write songs, sister. And that's just been me just learning how to coordinate myself with the strings and which chords I'm playing to make it sound good. And over the years, just been slowly fine-tuning it to making it sound cool. So when I'm sitting down playing at home and practicing, it's kind of like I'll sit and plug a song first. And then I'll get to my pick and be like, all right, I'm going to pick up my pick now and just and get into it. After I play fast for like a good 5-10 minutes, then I'll pick up a song and be like, all right, play one of your songs, play, cover, and just kind of play around with it, just pick around and find your best method of making that song sound good, in a sense. Hey, even when I come play a show, I should probably get better at this, but I don't play the same set every single time. I've never played the same set a single time. I always come to a show with just a song list, and I just pick around and feel the crowd to what they want next. So I find that cool. Kind of like the Grateful Dead on the road. Yeah. Like, oh, you see Kennedy in 2019 at blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, that set was so good. Well, you want to hear another song?
I'd love to hear another song.
All right,
What you got working up there?
I got a new one for you here. This song kind of talks about coming out of a storm, that being isolation and kind of just dealing with personal thoughts. And like I said, I write sad boy songs, but they're really pretty. It's newish, so I don't really have a song title for it either, but it's pretty catchy. It's a pretty catchy song. Standing around waiting for the storm, like my old man told me before. Stay the course and she will show. You'll always know what the beauty unfolds. Lessons become as common cigarettes. All the while only came second best. It goes to show that the end was near, and we never had our last stand still. The storm has made way through my head. It gave all my thoughts half a scare. Now I'm here waiting for the worst. Like she did, she always came first. Lessons became as common cigarettes, and all the while only took second best. It goes to show that the end was near, but we never had our last chance, dear. Then one night I was clearly beaten. She told me but left me still breathing. The look in her eyes scared me the most. Still haunts me just like a ghost. Lessons become as common cigarettes, and all the while only came second best. It goes to show that the end was near, and we never had our last chance, dear. Come so far down this winding road, and through the footsteps never to come home. What we could expect the worst, forgiving myself for all that's worse. Lessons become as common cigarettes, and all the while only came second best. It goes to show that the end was near, but we never had our last chance, dear. Good stuff, Mr. Kirby.
Chad O'Brien. Man. Yeah, I like that one, man. That's got some swagger to it.
Like, again, I've been trying to get a little better with my songwriting stuff, just kind of to do the best I can.
Yeah, man. I think, a lot of times it's like we're all on our own journey there on that path to really finding our own voices, and our inspirations, resonate with us in certain ways and kind of guide us into that,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really cool journey to be on.
It's just really cool journey to show people where I've came from and started too. Like even my mom being probably my number one fan ever. My mom will always be my number one fan, but she's just sometimes she's like, "Damn, you're getting good." Like, thanks, Mom. It's good to hear my original original fans being like, "Yeah, I've been watching you play for so long now, and you've been honing in on what you need to sound like, and you're figuring it out. That's awesome." And it's like, thank you. You get what I'm going through.
Yeah, well, it's. I think it's part of what we talked about earlier in terms of persistence and keeping after it.
Well, and don't get me wrong. And this goes out to every single person that picks up an instrument. You will have that plateau. You will have the plateau for a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 9 months. But if you don't keep pushing yourself to get past that plateau, you will never get better. And I've been there before. I thought I was on a plateau for a while, but I kept doing different covers and finding different styles of myself, and then I find myself writing different ways. Get past the plateau. If you want to get better at any instrument or any art or any creative form, keep practicing. That's all I can say to anybody out there.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Fantastic advice. I meet people all the time, and met a guy just this last weekend who was talking about learning songs and how he sometimes has a problem getting beyond like the intro or like that first verse. You get the cool riff or the cool hook and you learn that, but then breaking that wall or getting to move beyond that to actual finishing the whole song. What would you say to a guy like that in terms of, is that the same a little bit in terms of hitting that plateau? Like,
yeah, it's
just gotta see
it's
it
just
through,
so the best way I find myself even trying to like either write my own songs and getting past that intro to first verse and making a story or not a story, or just learning a song and learning it as a story. Once you get the melody and the form of the chord progression down, just try and keep that repetition in your head to know that melody and that sound. That's the best advice I could give, is just because when I want to learn a new song and I want to learn a cover, I listen to that damn song way too much. And people hate me because they're just like, we just heard the song like an hour ago. I'm like, so? It's good. Like, I'm sorry. And then once I do over listen to that song and I cover it, I usually never go back to that song and listen to it again because I've already dissected that song so much that I can listen to it in my head and know the melody or pick it up and know how to play it. Like, I dissect that song so much. So that's probably the best advice I can give for someone that's trying to learn a song. Over listen to that song until you hate it, until you know that song like the back of your hand. That's all I got. Just over listen to the song. Whether you hate it or not, just listen to the song over and over and over and over and over again until you know it. And then you'll fucking know it. Honestly. Like,
there's only one way to know it.
Well, and that's why,
to know it.
and I'm slowly starting to understand that concept of like bigger bands and how fans will come up to them and be like, oh, can you play this B-side song? And it's like, I haven't played that song in 15 years. Like, yeah, I love that song too, but could I remember it? Hell no. Like, it's hard trying to, like, when you have such a big catalog of songs that you've played over the years, it's hard to remember some songs. Like, even going into band practice, like, oh, we're playing that song again? Yeah, how's it go? Oh, yeah. Like, oh, that's how it goes. Like, it takes a little bit. Like, but the more you want to learn a song that you love, just over-listen to it. Just listen to it, listen to it, and just listen to it. And that's the best way to just learn a song, is just to listen to it until you hate it.
Yeah, I've also, with like lyrics or whatever, people talk about writing them, like listen to it over and over again. But I'm always like,
Bob Dylan's a madman.
Writing them down,
I can't believe Bob Dylan could go on tour and remember half those lyrics that man sang. Oh my freaking God.
Right.
I would love to cover a Bob Dylan song, but I can't remember all those lyrics. Are you kidding me? It's like a novel in a song. Like, he's talking about one thing, and then the third verse is talking about something completely different. Doesn't make sense at all, but it still makes the whole song make sense. Like Hurricane. Hurricane's like a 7.5-minute song. But to remember those lyrics?
Right. Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, that's how I feel about, like, the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald sometimes even, It's like...
I love that song. I love that song, but like to remember the story is such a long story, and yeah,
it's epic.
Yeah, it's epic. All right, what else do I got for you, Mr. Kirby? Well, I'm gonna play a classic. I'm gonna play little Stolen Faces for you. Strive in life for greatness, the troubles inside are weightless, yet no one is there to hell, come out fighting for yourself. Will never think of loss, your mind will crisscross. Will never blame yourself for the ones that you tried to always help. Please step away from that ledge. No one is going to catch you, my friend. Regret the choices of self-hatred to find your blood washed up on the pavement. Selfish thoughts to jeopardize your own goddamn health. Will never think of loss, your mind will crisscross. Will never blame yourself for the ones that you tried to. Will never think of loss, your mind will. Yeehaw.
Hoo nanny.
Hoo doggy.
You know, it's so it gets back to like those who disagree with us, right? Musical styles or whatnot. And I'll frame it this way: like the Buffalo Galaxy boys were in, and we're chatting about stuff. You know those guys, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, this is like not your traditional bluegrass, right? There are people that are just they don't get outside of that realm,
Mm-hmm.
It's like
the same
like
thing with
folk-
the Carrie. The
folk
same thing with the
punk,
Carrie Nation boys.
Brass and Grass,
Dude, Brass and Grass. Like, holy crap!
right?
Those guys kick ass.
Take that old time feel and vibe, ragtime, right? A little bit.
But like throwing that bluegrass experience to where it's like fast and fun, but like it's so much more than that. Same thing with Buffalo Galaxy, or even the Yonder Mountain String Band. Like
Yonder, right?
Like
Yeah.
there's one way to do bluegrass, and then you could throw your own style into bluegrass. And like even with Dig Deep, they kind of throw their thrash grass into that. Like
Sure.
they're a bunch of metalheads, but they love bluegrass, where they do good with bluegrass, but it's still fast and like, whoa, what's going on right now?
Yeah. So so it kind of gets back into just the question of the shape of the sound and and how that changes from the solo approach to like the band approach, and it's like folk punk in a way, right?
Right.
The solo thing and the band is a little bit more what?
We like to call it alternative punk, 'cause it's like it's got its punk roots, but like all four of us have our different influences where we bring that all into the punk side of it. Like we got compared to a 90s band in our article in the Wausau Times or the City Pages, and it was funny. I was like, man, how do I sound like Jane's Addiction? But I mean, for a certain perspective, like I guess I could my melody of my vocals sounds like, Jane's Addiction's lead singer, and I'm like, all right, that's not a bad comparison, but
take it.
I'll take it. It's alternative. It's that '90s grunge feel, but it's still got its early '80s punk roots. But you have Dallas, who's a big heavy metal fan, '80s hair metal fan, to emo pop punk. Where you got Dad Brad, who's super into '70s, '80s thrasher metal, and Lisa, who's into her '90s punk, 2000s R&B. You got me, who's a '90s baby, love the grunge scene, but I love my pop punk, but I also like my '60s and '70s rock. Like, it's this huge entity that just makes Cash into this alternative punk group, and you can hear our influences in our songs. It's crazy.
Bradley Spurger's on.
Bradley Spurger's the shit too, by the way. I love that
Bradley,
man.
yeah.
I friggin' love that man. Shout out to Bradley Spurger. That man, it's a kind soul.
Yeah.
It's so cool being able to talk about different musicians in the state that we know, because it's like we know that person on an individual level, but when it's like, oh yeah, Bradley Spurger, you know him and I know him, and it's such a good feeling to know good musicians and good people in the state. And just regional people, too. Like I said, I would love to have my buddy Brian Hoffman come up and do a show with you, because I feel like you two would just banter for days. Mr. Brian Hoffman out in South Dakota is just a all-around good human being, a great artist. He paints really well, too, but just a kind soul, just like you are, Scott. And to get him in the realm of things, he's got a huge fan base in Wisconsin, too. And to get him up here on the WXPR would be awesome, too, next time I get him through. So I'll keep you in touch. Well, do you want to hear another song?
Yeah. What's this one called?
This one's called Lover Song. talks about this mystical realm of imaginary love, where you meet this girl and you feel all great about her, but in all reality, the honeymoon phase doesn't last long. The boy, he smiles at the girl sitting beside him, wondering what's the next best thing to say. Said he lights the lights that burn the night sky, the same lights that live inside of the boy that's beside her. Lost in the woods are never nice. Makes you yearn, be the choice you make tonight. Night will end with the morning light. Light will teach you wrong from right. Wrong from right. Rest assured, time will never stop. Popular conditions are dropped. Left to mourn, thoughts are never kind. What's been learned, life turns out just fine. Lost in the woods are never nice. Makes you yearn, be the choice you make tonight. Night will end with the morning light. Light will teach you wrong from right. Wrong from right. Night will end with the surge of clouds, making your decisions wrong from right. Girl, she still sits beside you, just to say hi and I love you. Lost in the woods are never nice. Makes you yearn, be the choice you make tonight. Night will end with the morning light. wrong from right. Sometimes you gotta write a happy song to make people think that you write happy songs. But in reality, that's just a fictional story about some boy that met a girl. Because I don't get that fortunate. Man, it's been so good to hang out with you tonight.
I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. I want to thank you for reaching out, and because that's what the program's all about, is helping artists get their stuff out there. And
Maybe when it gets a little warmer, maybe spring or summertime, I get the band up here. Get the band up here.
That'd be great.
Get Dallas's kid up here. We do a little fucking Cash live set.
I'd love it.
Get some punk in this barn.
All right.
Yeah.
I bet you Dale would show up.
Hell yeah. Well, and like it'd be nice for me just not to be talking. You can pick the other brains, the band members too.
Absolutely.
I don't mind doing solo things, but I feel like I gotta talk all the time. I'm like, I talk about my experience, and I get all nervous. I'm like, You're like Tina from Bob's Burgers, like.
Is there a dream show? Like, who's the artist, the biggest one? Like if you could do a project or a gig.
Oh,
like
dude,
that
if
type of thing,
man, if I don't have to be on the same like set time list, but if I was on a festival with like Blink-182, if I was in the same festival, like My Name's Way Down Here, and they're like a headliner, that'd be cool. I mean, to share the same stage would be cool. That'd be cool. That's all that matters. Like, I'm so fortunate enough that I got to play some shows with some bigger names already. Like, this last month, I got to play this awesome DIY show, 2 shows with this group from New Orleans, and their name is Holy Locust. And I've been following this band for a few years. And my buddy Joe from Evansville hit me up. He's like, "Can you find these guys a show?" I'm like, "You're asking me to find Holy Locust a show? Yeah, can I play a show with them?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're setting the show." Like, okay, yeah, sweet. Like, I'm playing a show with these guys, and all of a sudden, my buddy John from Appleton is like, "Hey, I still need an opener for this show with Holy Locust." I'm like, "Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 shows with these guys." So like, already getting to play with people that I like been following or knowing, or like getting close to playing a show with people that I've followed for so long is already a good feeling of mine. Like, getting to play with buddies that are already in a bigger name band than I am is already fulfilling enough for me. Like, I don't need to play with a big name band. Like, I'm already playing with bigger name bands. It's already fun. Like, I played with the goddamn Gallows already. Like, that's a pretty big name.
Yeah.
I played with so many big people. It's so fun. Like, there's endless people that I've played with so far that I'm so fortunate to play with. Like, I can't be more fortunate enough from where I'm at right now. Like, being in your barn with Scott Kirby, being like, all right, I'm not stopping. I got more people to play with, more people to meet, more times to come up here and hang out with you. Like, I'm gonna send so many people your way. So I hope you're ready for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
I got people to come and play at your barn. So you're gonna be busy the next summer. Yeah.
Fantastic, man.
Hell yeah. You got anything else for me? You want me to play one more song?
Hell yeah. I mean, we got one more song would be awesome.
Right.
Thanks for tuning in to the live stream tonight. Thanks for supporting the channel and the program. If you're on the YouTube or Facebook, be sure to like and subscribe. You can get notified next time we go live, which I think is going to be tomorrow night with son of the Bertsch, Billy and Mike V, coming to you live from the Bertsch Barn tomorrow night. So, and of course, Chad O'Kennedy, get on the Facebook, follow the link in the description to his Facebook page. You can give that a like there. You can also, his band Cached, you guys are on Facebook also.
Yep.
I didn't provide that link.
That's okay.
But
that's okay.
But if you find...
Most people know me from Cached, but if people know who I am, then they know I have a band Cached. So it works out.
Right on. So the link won't be too far off. So, but yeah, anyway, thanks again for tuning in tonight. Thanks so much for being here, Chad. This is awesome to hook up and reconnect and
seriously,
catch up.
It was so nice to come out and hang out with your family on a personal level, because you came down to Wausau a few months ago and was having dinner at the restaurant I work at. And I didn't get a whole lot of time to say hi, but it was nice having a nice dinner with you tonight, hanging out on Monday night.
Yeah,
Seriously.
man, you were so gracious to us when we showed up. It's a beautiful thing, man.
It's a beautiful
You're
thing.
an awesome dude. We love having you.
I love having you here. Oh, so good. Man, all right. I'm gonna end on a good note, but this is probably my most favorite song to play, cause I get to step back and sing this song. It's called "Depths of Misery." Wrote this song about 4 years ago now. I was going through a really big transition in my life, and trying to keep yourself out of the realms of misery, especially in the depths where you're thinking of those really bad thoughts. By all means, take care of your friends and never get to that point, because you know you have plenty of friends that'll talk you out of it. So never find yourself in the depths. You stand by the truth that will bleed inside. You won't see the need. And all we need is room. No one needs to lose. And sacrifice may we bleed to the depths of misery. It haunts you to guide you to grieve. The journey never dies, oh why? Lost but never find me. Journey never dies, oh why? Lost to the unknown and becomes real life. Your love will never end right. Thank you.
Right on.
Yeah.
Chad O'Brien. Midwest Music Hour, special session live from the Bertsch Barn.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow night with Son of Bertsch.
Thank you.
Y'all be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and we'll see you on the other side, eh? Thanks so much.